And welcome to another edition of Oxford News this week. On tap for this edition, Oxford Community Fund is off and running, looking into transportation and oh dear. That and more on this special edition of Oxford News this week. Oxford Township Supervisor Jack Curtis had the pleasure of presenting a $7,500 check to Kathy Dickens, the Executive Director of the Almont-based Fork County Community Foundation, 4CCF for short, during the August 16th luncheon that was held at Red Knapp's American Grill. The donation, which came from Lifted Industrial Partners, will be used as the 4CCF to establish the new Oxford Community Fund. The Oxford Community Fund will operate much like a foundation within a foundation. All donations made to this fund will be used solely for grant awards specifically to impact Oxford's community. Thanks to the $7,500 match from the 4CCF, the Oxford Community Fund now has $15,000, making it an endowed fund.
That's from Lifted Industrial Products. They're coming to Oxford and they want to be involved in the community, so they pulled out a check.
Wow. Thank you for going over.
I told you I just needed a little time, but I know Jack knows the guys. So
yeah.
I'm ordering the steak.
Yeah, all right, very good. You knew that. Caviar, whatever you want, whatever they got. You know, I'm seldom rendered speechless, but I'm kind of speechless right now. I didn't expect this today. I really didn't. Well, thank you so much for helping facilitate.
You're welcome.
How about this? Now it's a celebratory lunch because we can celebrate an endowed fund for the Oxford community. And that is beautiful. And I just think that this will be a wonderful vehicle to do more and more, to be better and better, and to reach out to the citizens of Oxford. I just think that this will be a beautiful thing. I'm in awe.
CJ said you were looking for about $7,500, so I talked to a group of investors in the community and they thought, okay.
Yeah.
So all we do is ask, and he said, okay.
Beautiful.
So,
and I thank you, CJ. I have been, as I had said before, since 2019, little by little, in the community, kind of sprinkling my pixie dust all over the place, trying to just develop a rapport, a relationship, and you know, have a face with the organization. And so thank you. I'm so excited about this. And I'm going to be silent in the room for a while, and that's probably my greatest weakness. I can't be silent in a room.
I said I could make you silent. I told CJ.
Yeah, for a minute you did. You took my breath away.
And right away, I submitted a grant in 2020 to Fork County for some equipment for a senior center. And Fork County gave us $5,000 for that, and bought a grill, some furniture, and some other outdoor things for the Oxford Senior Center and Community Park. And then in 2021, Parks and Rec came to me. They wanted to establish a community garden. So right away, I thought of Fork County. I went to them. Fork County gave us $10,000 to establish a community garden in Seymour Lake Park, which is now providing food for our free meals program, Meals on Wheels, and the seniors of senior apartment.
How many pounds last year?
Last year was 2,300 pounds of vegetables went to local people in need, so it was great. And then this year, we got another $10,000 grant. Fire department had come to me. They wanted to start a smoke alarm, carbon monoxide alarm program, so right away I thought of Fork County. Between the $10,000 from Fork County and $13,000 I solicited from local businesses and community groups, we're now putting in smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in areas of Oxford with seniors, low-income residents, and people with disabilities. So over the last 3 years, 3 grants, $25,000. We've got a great relationship with Fork County, and you know, I thank them. They've done a lot for the people in need.
So I'm very pleased to see that happen on many different levels, not just as a member of the community and someone who's involved at that level, but also as someone who sits on the board of the foundation. So thank you for all of your hard work.
To donate to the Oxford Community Fund, please visit www.paypal.com/donate. The 4CCF mission is to serve the corners of Lapeer, Macomb, Oakland, and St. Clair, the four counties. Since the establishment in 1987, the organization has awarded approximately $10.5 million in grants and scholarships. To learn more about the 4-County Community Foundation and all the good work it does, you can log on their website, real easy to do, www.4ccf.org. Since 2020, the 4-County Community Fund has awarded 3 grants totaling $25,000 to Oxford Township. These grants have been used to purchase equipment for the Oxford Senior Center, establish a community garden at the Seymour Lake Township Park, and launch a smoke and carbon monoxide alarm installation program. And they did that, of course, through the Oxford Fire Department. On August 10th, just a few weeks ago, the Oakland County Board of Commission had the ballot language for a 10-year countywide transit millage to be added to the November 8th ballot. The .95 mil, which is expected to raise well over $66 million in its first year, would replace the 3 existing transit mills, including expiring the SMART millage in the areas where it exists, and provide more than $20 million for the new services to be added. The measure would eliminate opt-outs in the county jurisdiction that donate, participate, or even participate with property tax revenue to fund SMART. The Oakland County Commissioner passed the millage language with 13-7 vote, with 2 Republicans, Karen Juliet, representing the village of Clarkson, as well as portions of Independence and Waterford Townships, along with Michael Gingle, representing the city of Lake Angeles, Orion Township, and the village of Lake Orion, joining on the yes vote. Commissioner Michael Spiz from Oxford Township voted against the millage language. Commissioner Tom Kuhn, Republican, did not vote. 7th District Commissioner Bob Hoffman, again Republican, who represents Groveland Township, also voted no. Megan Owens, Executive Director of the advocacy group Transportation Riders United, said the Connect Oakland plan proposed by the Oakland County Commission is about Oakland County funding the mobility options for each community. It will invest in the services that the NODA, North Oakland Transit Authority, is currently providing to Oxford, Orion, Addison Townships, added Owen. The use of SMART and NODA website, you can check that out for more information. This November, the Oxford Women's Club will be hitting a milestone. Coming up on November 4th, 1932 will be that exact day. The club is known for its generosity in awarding scholarships to Oxford students, girls and boys alike. Since 2000, they've awarded well over $180,000 in scholarships to 165 deserving students. The club has the longest standing membership of 50 years. Nancy Ray added, we award about $10,000 a year in scholarships. The club raises funds with a number of events, annual events that take place. One which takes place coming up on August 27th, when the team will be with the Pollyant Trail management team. The 2 groups will each celebrate their respective anniversaries. Pollyann is 25 this year. The groups will have a cakewalk on Saturday. That's starting at 9 in the morning. The event takes place at the Trail Way Station at 33 Powell Street in Oxford Village. Again, that's coming up on the 27th. If you're viewing this after that, it's already happened. There will be booths for history speakers, and there will be a free cake this November 2nd. The club will host its largest fundraising event ever possible. It's the fashion show. This fashion show is a yearly occurrence. It takes place at Boulder Point Golf Club on M24, north of town. Area women will model fashions from Boulevard Boutique, Main Street Boutique, and both of Oxford Village and Kim Rose Fashions of Grand Blanc. In November, they will sell Christmas wreaths and cedar roping as a fundraiser as well. In January, they have another annual fundraiser. It's called the Wine Tasting Event, Put Me Down, which will be at Addison Oaks Park. The Women's Club meets monthly on the first Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock. They usually meet in the members' homes. The club has about 20 members currently, but they're always looking for somebody new to join along. If any other area women are interested in this, feel free to contact, it says Martin here at 248-672-9414. Congratulations on their anniversaries, respectively. The American Legion Holly Post 149 welcomed the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. This is actually the moving wall that mirrors the wall in Washington to Holly for the first time last week. A key element in the moving wall, a half-scale model of the actual memorial, again seen in Washington, D.C. It's seeing a visitor's reflection engraved with names of 58,000 plus Americans who lost their lives in Vietnam. The experience connects the past and the present at the memorial. The theme of the moving wall was brought to Holly by a committee composed of veterans, business people, and citizens. The event co-chairs are Vietnam veterans Joe Mishler and Rick Powers of the American Legion Holly Post 1. Of the names on the moving wall is a Roy McGee, according to the front page article on the February 1st, 1968 Oxford leader. McGee was the first Oxford man killed in Vietnam. The first paragraph in the lead story of that month of tragedy ended to Mrs. David Oxer, 1940 Lakeville Road, where she was notified by the United States Army that her 18-year-old son, Roy McGee, had been killed in Vietnam on January 29th. He would have been 19 March 3rd. According to the article, Roy had attended the Oxford area community schools. He left the 9th grade to join the Army. While with the Army, he continued his education. Mrs. Sally Oxer also said that he told her that he had completed his high school education and was to receive a diploma. She told the leader he did that, didn't have to go to Vietnam, but he was stationed in Okinawa. But when the Vietnam War broke out, he volunteered to go there. At that time, he told he was needed there. The 1968 leader also indicated with a statement that the Oxers moved to Oxford 6 years ago from Troy, suffered another tragedy on January 13th when their mobile home burned down. With their loss and their home, Mrs. Oxer also lost the only picture she had had of her son. Attempts to find and recover the picture from the burning building had failed. We have this one picture from the Oxford leader back in '68. Addison Township is moving toward planning a community park at its township office area, and it will include a bocce ball, pickleball. According to the township supervisor, Bruce Pearson, the project will rely mainly on grant money.
We're looking for grants, okay, and some of the money we got from rescue money is going to be our seed money for improving the park over here. We sent this over to PEA, which is our engineering, and they did some changes on this. We're going to have, we hope to have some pickleball courts and some bocce ball courts over here. I did also receive some very nice gifts from some people on the lake who wrote some checks to when they heard we were thinking about that, and they'd like to help pay for that. So I have some nice checks that we should put into a separate fund just for assisting with the pickleball courts and the bocce ball courts.
Clerk Pauline Bennett spoke about the 9 next steps that must be taken in order to advance the possibility of receiving the grant money.
They said that this type of plan is acceptable for us to go forward with the grant. So I just kind of wanted to share that we will need to have engineered plans or a site plan for the park. We will also need to go out for bids. So what Mike from PEA did was come up with an estimate of cost and a plan of what we would like to see. And then of course we can always give even more detail once we get to that stage. If they pick us, then we're going to have engineered plans and a site plan. So that would be the time that we will really be calling the shots. But right now it's like, as long as everybody's happy with what we're including, I think he did a great job as far as turning it around again.
The Township Board unanimously voted to move ahead with the current design plans. If the township is picked, the grant money will be awarded in 2023. Representatives from the North Oakland Community Coalition were at all of the Oxford Resiliency Center, hoping folks of all ages could create calming jars filled with water, clear glue, glitter, and colorful little objects. These jars are easy and fun to make. Gazing at the jar enables the user to self-soothe whenever at all possible. They're anxious or emotionally overwhelmed. Feel free to get one of those jars. All Oxford is located at 1370 South Lapeer at Oxford Mills Shopping Center. To learn more about the Resiliency Center, contact them at www.allforoxford.org. That is their website. Help is those for anybody who needs it. All for Oxford hotline is 248-653-5525. With that, we'll have Dave Kenny. He has Autotalk, Science, and the News. I have a brief look at sports. We're looking very excited. Football's coming up and around the corner. We'll have that. We'll be right back with more on Oxford News This Week.
Welcome to Autotalk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. Stellantis is recalling more than 212,000 Ram vehicles from the 2015 to 20 model years because inflator end caps in the vehicle's airbags can detach or the inflator sidewall may rupture. In either situation, compressed gas can escape, which might send the end cap and or other parts flying into the vehicle interior and cause an injury or crash, according to documents filed with NHTSA. The recall covers certain 2015 to 20 Ram 1500 Classics, 2015 to 2016 Ram 3500 and Ram 2500, and 2016 Ram 3500 cab chassis vehicles. The company opened an investigation in December 2020 after discovering that some of the vehicle models in question may have been built with side airbag inflatable curtains with inflators contaminated with moisture. The suspect inflators were built between March 2015 and September 2015. FCA US, a North American arm of Stellantis, said moisture introduced during the manufacturing process could lead to corrosion and subsequent cracking inside the airbag over time. In a safety recall report filed with NHTSA, FCA US said that it is not aware of any accidents or injuries resulting from the faulty side airbags. FCA US estimates it will notify owners and dealers on or about October 1st. The automaker indicated it will replace the vehicle's side airbag inflatable curtains as needed. Replacement parts for the side airbag inflatable curtains will be built with an inflator outside the suspect period, FCA US said. And over at Ford, Lincoln is updating its biggest family hauler, the Navigator SUV, with new technology and minor cosmetic changes to better compete among large luxury vehicles. The 2022 Navigator, which goes on sale early next year, will be the first Lincoln to feature Ford Motor Company's hands-free driver assist technology branded as Lincoln Active Glide. The technology is called Ford Blue Cruise for Ford brand vehicles and will debut in the coming weeks on the Ford F-150 pickup and Mustang Mach-E crossover. The freshened Navigator will get over-the-air update capability called Lincoln Enhance and the Sync 4 infotainment system. Lincoln is adding 2 new black label interior options, and the exterior will have new taillights, headlamps, and tweaks to the grille. Officials say it attracts the brand's youngest clients and accounts for 1/3 of its conquest sales. The vehicle interior will get a new 13.2-inch center screen and what Lincoln is calling a reimagined head-up display. Designers added a new 5.8-inch digital module in the back seat that second-row passengers can use to adjust the climate control or audio settings. For the first time, Lincoln will offer second-row massaging seats. As part of the Sync 4 upgrade, Navigator customers will be able to use Amazon Alexa voice controls. The Navigator will be powered by a carryover 3.5-liter V6 engine that gets 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and we'll be right back.
Back with you on Oxford News this week. Looking forward to some Oxford football and the other fall sports that are about to get underway. Oxford Wildcats football team is preparing to return to the field for the first time since, of course, that tragic evening in November. In the meantime, coaches and players have found ways to remember and honor the legacy of one of their fallen Wildcats, of course, Tate Meir, who was left behind. Again, Coach Zach Line, he said, Tate is with us. You know he is. He's been with us in training camp. We feel him here, and we're out there competing. He'll be here as our captain forever. Again, these guys have been, he has been their leader for a long time. Again, Coach Line also did say, undoubtedly agree, but what makes it even more remarkable is the fact that Tate's father, Buck, is also leading the team as a special coach for the Oxford football team. Buck's a tremendous mentor. He's been a mentor to both the coach and members of the team, and he'll be there on the sideline as the Oxford football team takes the field. Again, commemorating his son. Again, Buck Meir, we want to thank him for that. More than 260 days ago after his son's life was tragically ripped away, again, it's we're keeping Tate's legacy alive in a way that can easily be seen, creating change like in a positive way, like crazy. So this was another opportunity for him to jump back in. Line explained, that's Coach Line explained, and again, he'll be part of the coaching staff. You'll see why this upcoming season will be so special to the team and the entire school. We can just be together as a family. That's our motto this year. It's together, so it's fitting to have during training camp. And also Coach Line added, again, thoughts with the Meir family, as it must be very hard for them to be there, but we commend Buck Meir for being part of the special coaching team. You might have caught the Prime Video series A League of Their Own, or maybe the inspired film from 1992, but that same name tells the story of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, a real thing that existed in the Midwest back in 1943 and 1954. Initially founded by the famed chewing gum Philip Wrigley, owner of the Wrigley Field, home in Chicago, the Chicago Cubs, the league attempted to address a few interconnected issues. As emphasized in the film and the TV show, Major League ball players were actually enlisting and thus thinning the ranks of star power for their teams, and their league owners were panicking in how they would keep the sport alive. America's national pastime during this slump, but there were other major reasons as well. Minor league teams were being depleted by the war effort, and many had to shut down entirely. A loss compounded by the fact that the war-sanctioned travel restrictions were in place that also made it tougher for fans outside of the large cities to attend major league games. Meanwhile, the score-related factory workers and their families in mid-sized industrial cities like Rockford, Illinois, were in need for some wholesome American evening entertainment to the district. So they came up with the Women's Baseball League. And finally, the Women's Softball League was actually already pretty big, which, again, we talk about when we watch the film or even the program on Prime TV. Thus, the AAGPBL was born. But how much of the league, according to people that have watched it, how close is it to the actual things that did occur? Well, it was very close, according to what they were discussing about in the historical deep dive into the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League. Softball, baseball leagues for black players and culture in 1940s. Although the show portrays the girls playing baseball from a jump, it wasn't the case. They were mostly softball players recruited from their local softball teams to play softball. Softball was also an enormously popular American sport starting in the 1880s, with hundreds of thousands of players joining in with leagues all over the continent. In 1942, about 200,000 of the women's softball teams existed in the country, including teams of the all-women's college and local leagues attracted sizable followings, including a beloved, well-attended Chicago Women's Softball League. That was, again, inspired by Herb Gravis. Note at the time, it has been no secret to sports fans that the Midwest girls softball in Chicago has been outdrawing the Major League Baseball clubs. Therefore, when the AAGPBL launched in '43, it was originally called the All-American Girls Softball League. Some rules were shifted away in softball to increase the excitement of the game, and the ball was slightly smaller. Pitching distance was enlarged. Base stealing was also permitted, and the game lasted 9 innings rather than the 7. Rule changes that inspired them to switch out from softball to baseball in the league mid-season, but not enough to change to prevent from being changed from the baseball for its second season. Over the years, many more rule changes of the league, name changes were made to keep up with the game's exciting until it did become an actual baseball and was named accordingly, renaming the league itself. They honed their skills, pitching underhand, adding a layer of difficulty to the players' recruitment, while the team living in the same house dynamic was necessary to keep the human dramas portrayed in the show. In truth, the girls actually boarded individually, or even they even stayed in separate areas while they were playing. While playing away games, sometimes they would room and board together. Again, part of Hollywood coming in with the movie and the TV show. Once again, just thought we'd give you a little information on some of that with the 1992 movie, and of course the show that is currently running on Prime. Anyways, that wraps into sports. We'll have Oxford sports as we get into the fall, and we're looking forward to that. I'll be back to close it all out on this edition of Oxford News this week. Dave Kenny has one more segment, I believe. We'll be back in a moment.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from New Scientist. A pair of astronomers have found and categorized 500,000 new asteroids lurking in old data. Figuring out exactly where these objects came from could be crucial to understanding the early solar system. Alexei Sergeyev and Benoit Carré at the Côte d'Azur University in France found the object by sifting through images of the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, or the SDSS. The survey, which uses a telescope at the Apache Point Observatory in New Mexico, took images of a huge swath of the sky from 1998 to 2009. It also measured the colors of the objects it spotted. Sergeyev and Carey examined the images looking for fast-moving objects which could be asteroids or comets. They found more than 1 million observations of objects that we already knew about, along with 506,200 observations of objects not linked with anything we have observed before, most of them asteroids. The number of asteroids that hadn't been cataloged was surprising, says Carey. We were expecting maybe 30,000 or 40,000 more asteroids, and suddenly we had this monster catalog, he says. It was supposed to take a few weeks' work, and it turned out to be 1 year. The researchers used the color and brightness measurements from the SDSS to categorize the asteroids, as these properties reveal what their surfaces are made of. Now that they are categorized, the next step is to figure out their origins. Understanding the distribution of these asteroids, not only their orbits, but also their compositions, gives you the key to understanding what happened in the solar system in the past, such as the planetary migrations that pushed them into the asteroid belt, says Carey. Continuing observations with other telescopes will allow researchers to find millions more, he says. In the meantime, these ones will have to be monitored to find out their trajectories, with the goal of both determining whether they are really new or have been observed before, and figuring out if any of them might be hazardous to Earth. In our next story, the U.S. will start making booster vaccines available on September 20th, health officials have announced. These shots will be offered to people who have had their second dose 8 months earlier, initially focusing on healthcare workers, nursing home residents, and older people who were among the first to be vaccinated. It's the best way to protect ourselves from new variants that may arise, President Joe Biden told reporters at the White House on August 18th. It will make you safer, and for longer. It will help end this pandemic faster, he says. However, the World Health Organization has urged rich countries and vaccine manufacturers to prioritize distributing vaccines to low and middle-income countries before pushing ahead with third doses at home. Biden also announced that his administration would make vaccination of employees a condition for nursing homes to receive Medicare and Medicaid funding. Wow. Well, that's it for Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
Back with you on Oxford News this week, and yes, we're closing another edition. We leave you tonight with a captured image of a young buck on a velvet-covered antlers during an evening bike ride around the Pollyant Trail. Pure nature, pure Oxford, according to CJ Carnacchio, sharing a simplistic picture on a trail that can be an outlet to anyone who might need to step back into nature. Here's the picture. Again, a great picture from CJ. OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter, Channel 191, Channel 99 on ATT Uverse, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and you can also download us on Roku app. Watch OCTV programming. OCTV is also available to local groups for producing public service announcements. If you have a show idea and you want to volunteer as well, contact our main office at 248-628-9658. I want to thank producer director Dan Weiss, videographer Al Campbell, editor Joe Hewitt, program director Connie Miller, station manager Terry Stiles. For everyone here at OCTV, I'm Jim Hughes. Hoping you have a safe week, and I invite you back next week. And again, we'll take the time to look at Oxford News this week. Have a good week, everyone.